I'm Jim Frazer, Vice President of Smart Cities here at ARC Advisory Group. I'm very pleased today to be joined by Leslie Rittenberg of Beyond Limits AI. She's a Vice President of Product Management. Welcome today.
Well, hi. Thanks, Jim. Glad to be here.
How are you? Can you tell us a little bit about Beyond Limits and your role with the company?
Right. So I'm the VP of Product Management, and I'm responsible for creating these cognitive AI products that we started in the oil and gas industry to help with frontline actioning and frontline direction. And so I joined Beyond Limits from my career was spent at a major oil and gas company where I'm bringing a lot of experience to the table, combining it with their great software technology so that we can pinpoint some specific applications in the oil and gas industry.
Can you perhaps dive a little bit deeper into what particular markets and applications does Beyond Limits AI focus upon?
Right. So we started in oil and gas, but we've expanded out to energy. So in the power market, we can also have applications in fintech. So again, it's anywhere where an industry feels like they're at risk of losing some important worker knowledge, or they rely heavily on engineering expertise in the moment. And we're allowing them to now digitize that in a very systematic way so that they can start to develop some resiliency to workforce retirement, role changes, things like that. We're very focused on optimizing in the moment, bringing confidence to that frontline worker, upscaling the whole organization so that over time, you'll defeat the capability gap that a lot of organizations face on a regular basis.
Can you describe for us that capture of that worker knowledge? I think we're all familiar with AI being driven by all the IOT OT data, but how do we get something from someone's head or their hands into an AI system?
Well, I'll use something that's near and dear to the company, right? So they came out of JPL and developed a lot of the cognitive reasoning that actually went into the Mars rover. So if you can imagine, you're sending a machine very far away from Earth with a big lag in communication. And so the reasoner technology that they put allows the rover to evaluate the situation around them and make human-like reasoning in the moment and not have to rely on communication from Earth to actually perform and optimize in that situation that it's in. So if you can imagine in a plant that an operator is managing, they're getting hit with their real-time sensors, with dynamic plant constraints, with change in feedstock, and we're asking them to balance a lot of trade-offs at that given moment. So we all have fixed assets and we want to deliver really important decisions faster, but yet we're still meeting in the morning with that frontline worker, making a plan, telling them where their gaps are. So wouldn't it be great if you were able to digitize all that knowledge that you talk about all the time and actually present it in a very readable way to the operator in the moment?
Let's talk about implementation. If I was a plant operator and I did want to go and digitize not only my IoT data and use AI upon it, but when I would like to integrate some of that worker knowledge into the AI, what's my first step, my second step? How do I get started?
So we all have great control systems. And we all have very good models that we've been developing in the industry. But how do we bring it all together? How do I look across the whole plant and understand what my greatest opportunity is at that moment? So we typically like to tell people, all right, where do you think you're losing margin or have that greatest opportunity in your plant that, maybe you made some design modifications to the plant over the years and you just don't see the workforce picking up on, what's the best way to operate this now? So those are great opportunities. We typically like to go into a plant, start with a system, and show how we can start to deliver better decisions in the moment across that whole system. Because as you can imagine, even in a plant, there's silos. You have different operating units, you have maintenance, you have planners, you have schedulers. They're all hitting that operator with different recommendations and different opinions. And by digitizing it, so number one, we all have the same information. We all understand where the gap really was, so it's one source of truth. And now we can focus on what's really the most important thing for that frontline worker to deliver.
Is it in that case of our initial deployment, is it an incremental process or is it one big deliverable?
No, that's a great question. I mean, a lot of people, I think, get overwhelmed when we start to put in these big software products, right? And AI can be scary for people. But what we're doing is an iterative process, and I use the term citizen development. I really want the people that are working at the plant, whether it's your best operator, whether it's your best engineer, whether it's an engineer that has the expertise in the center of your organization, that's the collaboration opportunity, and you build on it. You're not going to get it 100% the first time, and we all know that. But this is a great system that allows you to capture what your opportunities were on the back end and iterate. Iterate, iterate, iterate. So what we see, I'll give you a great example. We went into a major refinery that was really complex, lots of changes. They weren't hitting their commercial optimal operation. And by concentrating on a particular system, iterating over a few months, they started consistently hit that commercial plan. They improved over 17% in the first 2 months. So you can tell that if you just start to create a collaboration and put the right information in front of people at the right time, which is important, then you can start to see improvement.
I could see how the trust builds over time as you go down that incremental approach.
Yes.
That was a fascinating discussion, Leslie. Again, we've been speaking with Leslie Rittenberg, Vice President, Product Marketing at Beyond Limits AI. Thank you for joining us today.